How's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to the King RX YouTube channel. Going to start something new here. We're going to break down each team in the NFL every few days, break down their offseason acquisitions, their departures, see what they got to look forward to this year, make some predictions on what they have going on, and go through each team, and then come back through and go through each division, break it all down, hopefully get some feedback from you all, and go from there. Appreciate you stopping by. We're going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were again the worst team in the NFL, just complete chaos throughout the whole season. Back-to-back years having the number one pick, which is almost unheard of in the NFL. You normally had that first year of being horrible, and they revamped the coaching squad, revamped the team, which they did last year with the Urban Meyer experiment, and it was so chaotic. I mean, everything you heard you thought was a rumor, and it just got progressively worse as the season went on. And again, also forgive my voice, still under the weather a little bit, so trying to push through it. Uh, but yeah, everything with the Urban Meyer experiment just got worse and worse as the season went. Everything you thought, this has to be just made up at this point. Come out with more and more proof, pretty much. So they move on from him, bring in Doug Peterson, somewhat of a more proven NFL coach, has a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, with the Eagles. So we're gonna see if he can come in and change the tides, with Jacksonville. Because if they have the number one pick again next year, Trevor Lawrence is more than likely out of the door. So last year they were 3-14. Like I said, had the first pick, worst record in the NFL. Some of their key additions is they signed Oluokun, the linebacker from Atlanta. They made so many additions this year. They got him. He's gonna come in. Like it has here, he's gonna be their Mike linebacker. They gave him 3 years, $45 million. Did he play up to that? Probably not. But they're trying to overhaul everything in Jacksonville, so they probably had to overpay to get some players to come down there. You got to overpay for uh, these teammates whenever your team is as bad as what they were. There's not much other than the good weather to bring anybody to Jacksonville. But he did have the most tackles at linebacker at 131, so maybe he's just a tackling machine. Just have someone in there that can replace Miles Jack, who was one of their departures. They only had a few departures. They probably should have had a lot that they could have got rid of, but Miles Jack is one of their quote-unquote better players that they lost in the offseason. He went to Pittsburgh. They bring in a guy from Atlanta, hopefully get some better replacement in the middle of the field, maybe a little bit more speed there. So we can see what they can do with that. They brought in Brandon Sheriff at guard. He'll be starting, They franchise tag Cam Robinson, then ended up giving him a 3-year extension. So that kind of took them out of the running for the number one pick to draft an offensive lineman, which was somewhat speculated at the beginning of draft season, but that quickly went out the door, and it went back and forth between Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson. Initially was Hutchinson, then they surprised everyone taking Trayvon Walker. They got Ben Barch. They got the rookie here, Luke Fortner. They got him in the third round, so they kind of strengthened that offensive line for sure. Try to keep Trevor Lawrence upright this year. He did have a lot of sacks. Took a lot of good many sacks last year. Rushed the ball out. He was playing behind most of the time, so it's kind of hard to evaluate what he was truly doing with the weapons that he quote unquote had and the offensive line that he had. So yeah, brought in Brandon Sheriff. Signed Evan Ingram, I believe, to a 1-year deal. Try to get his career revitalized. He was in New York, played with Daniel Jones. Not much going on with Daniel Jones. That was equally as bad as Jacksonville over the last few years. So try to get Trevor Lawrence some more weapons. They had Dan Arnold last year. They got from Carolina. Dan Arnold come in and played pretty well. For the situation that he was in Jacksonville. So they may be running a good bit of 2 tight end sets down in Jacksonville with Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold on the field together. But we'll see what Evan Ingram can bring to the team for sure. They brought in Darius Williams. He's going to be him and Shaquille Griffin. We'll see what they can do. Darius Williams, he was very important in that Super Bowl run for the Rams this past season. Obviously not CB1 with Jalen Ramsey over there, but he can come in and compete for CB1 for sure in Jacksonville. See if him and Shaquille Griffin can fortify the back end of that defense. There's room for improvement all throughout this team. So we'll see what they can do. one of their many other signings. They went crazy with the wide receivers. Still got Marvin Jones. They lost DJ Shark. He was out. He broke his ankle that on that Thursday night game. Missed majority of the season. Put Trevor Lawrence in even a worse situation, losing his number one option on the field. He went to Detroit on a 1-year deal, I believe. So they still have Marvin Jones, a reliable catcher. They bring in Christian Kirk on a extreme contract. Let me see what that contract was. I mean, everyone thinks they overpaid him. I mean, kind of 4-year, $84 million. I mean, kind of high for Christian Kirk. I mean, you may look at some of the analytics and it shows he's a great receiver, but a lot of people are still kind of iffy on that contract. We can see what they can do because, I mean, yeah, they improved the weapons around Trevor Lawrence, but I don't know if he has the best weapons out of any second-year quarterback. Might discuss that in a minute. But they bring in Christian Kirk. Still got Marvin Jones. They bring in Zay Jones, excuse me. Still got LaVisca. They got him here, I guess is the fourth wideout. But you got to think he's going to be starting. They pretty much got two slot receivers. You got Jamal Agnew. He showed a lot of promise, kick returns, just filling in anywhere. He had a lot of explosive plays. So, I mean, you put in Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Agnew, LaVisca Chenault, and Treadwell, who people are still praying will do something at some point. I mean, they might have something to do with the receiver core. Try to get some points on the board for sure. Can only go up from last year. That's 100% accurate. Like I said earlier, bring in Doug Peterson. They hope that brings some stability to the organization. I think that's why they went with him. Someone who's proven. It's not going to have much drama with him for sure, especially compared to Urban Meyer. So see what he can do. See if he can get something out of Trevor Lawrence this year. And then you go to the draft. They brought in Trayvon Walker, drafted Devin Lloyd. Bring up here. Let's see. Let's bring this up. Brings up a little pop up. Nothing special. And the guy out of Utah. That's pointless. Trayvon Walker. I mean, super athletic. Super duper athletic. They have the relative athlete score, the RAS, that you see a lot from the combine. It takes in all their 40 times all the measurables from the combine and compares it to everyone within their position. Trayvon Walker had a 9.99. So that basically says he's better, more athletic than every other player at that outside linebacker position. So with that said, I mean, how much is that going to translate to him actually having the necessary skill set to get to the quarterback? I mean, it's a swing. We know the Jaguars are known for taking swings. You look back at their, 2020, they took C.J. Henderson at 9. They took Chason out of LSU at 20. Neither one of them have really done much at all. There was the rumors of them trying to trade C.J. Henderson all last year. I mean, they were just trying to get rid of him. Didn't want him on the team. I mean, how much of that is the player? How much of that is Urban Meyer? Who knows? So, got that. We'll see what Trayvon Walker does. I mean, is he going to be another Ziggy Ansah? Remember, the Detroit Lions took Ziggy Ansah a few years back. Super athlete. Came in, was mediocre. He was pretty productive at times, but not what they hoped he would be. So maybe Trayvon Walker come in, prove everybody wrong. I mean, get to the quarterback, super speed. So we'll see. I don't know. To be determined for sure. Only other loss they had, that's all their additions. The only losses they had, I mentioned earlier, DJ Chark, Miles Jack, they lost. They lost Carlos Hyde. Last year they surprised everyone by taking Travis Etienne in the first round when they already had James Robinson. Etienne comes in, has the Liz Frank injury, out for the season. So it's just James Robinson, who was in the doghouse, I guess you could say at times, with Urban Meyer. Didn't make any sense. He was a 1,000-yard rusher in his first season as an undrafted player. And then you barely, at times, you feel like you don't even want him on the field. You put Carlos Hyde, an aged running back, on the field over him. Made no sense. Long story short, James Robinson ends up getting hurt. It was either like the last week or one of the last few weeks of the season. So he may be out a majority of the season, the entire season. So you got Travis Etienne. He's going to come in and he's going to have he's going to get a bulk of the carries for sure. Another pass catcher for Trevor Lawrence. They got the rapport from Clemson together, so we'll see what they got going on. Sorry, nose messing with me. Uh, so now I'm going to their strengths and weaknesses. So their strengths is they're not going down without making moves. They have they got depth, I guess you could say, at wide receiver. But how many of these receivers are going to put up great numbers? It's possible, but gotta see what they're going to do. Um, Definitely an improvement from last year, I would say, overall on the offensive side of the ball. Even though they lost James Robinson for a while, we're going to see what they can do with the rest of the team. Um, so that's pretty much their only strength. They're young, I guess you could say, but they have so many weaknesses that strengths is not something we're going to sit here and discuss for a long time. Weaknesses, are their weapons good enough to compete? It's to be determined. You look at the second year quarterbacks, like I said earlier, I don't think that Trevor Lawrence has the best weapons around him out of the second year quarterbacks. You got him, Jacksonville. You look up at the Jets, Zach Wilson, another prove it year. He's got Corey Davis. He's got Elijah Moore. They brought in, did they bring in Conklin? I believe they brought in Conklin. They brought in oh, my mind's going blank. The tight end from the Bengals last year played a key role for Joe Burrow. They got Michael Carter. They drafted a running back. He might have better weapons right now. We'll see. You got Mac Jones. Obviously, Mac Jones does not have better weapons. His offense, he don't even have a play caller. So who knows what's going to happen in New England? Look at all them. I personally think Davis Mills may have the best weapons around him. They bring back Brandon Cooks, one of the most underrated receivers. Still got top end speed, even though he's probably getting past his prime. Top end speed in the NFL. They got Brevin Jordan, the young tight end. They're hoping more out of him. They they brought in a few other players. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry. They brought in a few other players. He's got Brandon Cooks. They drafted John Mechie. I think he's going to be an outstanding slot receiver. He's going to come in instantly, bring up what they have. Let's look at their offensive weapons. Like I said, I still believe Texans have the best second year. Cooks, Collins, Mechie. He's got a pretty much more solid offensive line. Damian Pierce, that's who I was blanking on. They got him. They got Agumboale, the running back from Jacksonville. I think these two with Pierce and Agumboale, they could come in and they're gonna take a bulk of the loads because Marlon Mack's on the decline. Rex Burkhead's old, but yeah. So like I said, Trevor Lawrence got the weapons. They're good enough. We'll see. I already mentioned the Travis Etienne. That's a weakness. They lost some depth at running back. They did draft Snoop Connor in the 5th round this year, so we'll see what they can do. But it's still more of a prove-it season for me for the Jaguars for sure, being that they signed up to all these players with mediocre histories. So maybe they can all put it together. Maybe Doug Peterson and a mixture of all these mediocre players is the solution. Jacksonville. I would say it's promising if they get 7 wins this year, 6 maybe, 6, 7 wins. That's growth. I would feel good if I were a Jags fan. You look at the draft books; they have them projected to only have 6 wins this year. It's one of the lowest. I think it may be the second lowest, only ahead of the Texans. The Texans are like 4.5 right now. But so we'll go through the schedule and discuss what they have going on with their teams that they play. Have them all brought up right here. They play the Commanders week 1. Carson Wentz. What else you need to say about Carson Wentz? I think Ron Rivera is just trying to bring back the whole team. He brought in Wentz, not an old player, but he's got Curtis Samuel. He brings back the Trey Turner. He's bringing back the Panthers. Bring them all back again. Just run it back, even though they're 5 years older. Who cares? Let's do it again. Ron Rivera may be in his last year, especially if he can't get anything out of Wentz. I don't know why they traded for him to begin with. Wentz may not last but a few weeks between performance and injury. It may be the Sam Howell show before long. With that said, I feel like Jags coming here, they're hyped up. They got a new coach. They got a new team altogether. Doug Peterson's going to have them ready to go. They go into Washington, get the win, I believe. That's not saying much against Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, I can't remember the statistic exactly, but he spent most of the season, he couldn't get above 500. Nothing new. Week 2, they have the Colts. Colts are a revamped team, especially at the not revamped, excuse me. Have a new quarterback. Got rid of Carson Wentz. Brought in Matt Ryan, which is going to be, Carson Wentz, he's the meme factory, but he's not that bad of a quarterback, even though I just said the Commanders have him. But he just makes stupid mistakes. You think of the spin around toss in the end zone, I think it's against the Rams, pick six. He just does crazy things most inopportune time. Colts at home, I think the Colts are too overwhelming. Jags are hopefully on the up and up, but Matt Ryan, he's not going to come into his, I believe it's his first home game and going to lose to the Jags. I don't foresee that happening. Take that as an L, especially with their defense. No. Week 3. I'm sorry, that Colts game was at home. I do apologize. It is at home, but I still don't think Matt Ryan's going to go into there and lose to the Jags. Week 3, the Jags go to the Chargers. It's early on in the season. Every win is a must-win for every team in the AFC West. You got the Chargers, you got the Raiders, you got the Broncos, you got the Chiefs. Who knows who's going to win that division? They're all going to be taking each other out the entire season. But, Justin Herbert, he arguably top 5 quarterback right now in the NFL. And they've brought in defense. They brought in Khalil Mack. They still got Nick Bosa on the outside. Joey Bosa, sorry. Joey Bosa on the outside. They got Khalil Mack. They got Asante Samuel. They brought in the other cornerback from New England. Their offense, they go get more offensive weapons for Justin Herbert. They get another offensive lineman, Zion Johnson. And, this team is just ready to go. If you told me they were your Super Bowl favorites, I have no argument against that for sure. So no way the Jags go in there with their mediocre team and lose. Chargers got to get every win that they can, especially against teams like this. Week 4, go to the Eagles. Eagles, another revamped team. They drafted well. They get A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts is in a prove-it year. I don't see them going into Philadelphia and getting a win there either. I just feel like they're going to get overwhelmed, especially by that Philly defense for sure. Have the Texans at home. Right now, they're looking at 1-3 record. Texans probably going to be about the same at this point. I feel like the Jacksonville can definitely at least get 1 or 2 from the Texans. They may split the season series, but being a home game, I feel like early on in the season, they can get the Texans. Davis Mills, we'll see what he can do this year. Not real sure. Got the Colts again. Already in week 6, they play them the second time. They're not going to go into Lucas Oil Stadium and beat the Colts for sure. Colts, these players got to be getting tired of not achieving what they're expected to achieve throughout the season. Still got the same core players. Got Matt Ryan. He's in there coming back trying to prove that he's still got something left in the tank for sure. Got the Giants in week 7. Got them at home. Dable's supposed to be the savior of the Giants. But I still don't think Daniel Jones is the man, He's supposed to come in there and hopefully revive his career. He's on the 4th year of that rookie contract. They didn't give him the 5th-year option for Daniel Jones. So I don't foresee them playing as well as people may hope. I think it's going to be a couple years. They'll probably get a new quarterback after this year. But I feel like the Jags go in there and get the W. It's a home game. I just feel like the Giants don't have what it takes to get the win. They got the Broncos in week 8 at home. Again, another AFC West team. They play AFC West this year. This is going to be a string. L. I don't care, home or away. They're not beating any of these AFC West teams. These teams have to get every win possible to just try to make the wild card. That division is going to be ridiculous. So, a much-needed bye coming in week 11. Go to week 12. Ravens, they had the horrible season last year, injury prone. People, I think, are still kind of low on them. They forget what they were with their defense. They're going to have a new defensive coordinator, going to have a revamped offensive line with Lamar Jackson coming back, hopefully healthy, stay healthy for the whole season. Lost the receiver, sent Hollywood Brown to the Cards, but I mean, they got Kyle Hamilton, they got the center. Even though he runs his own scheme, I feel like they got a lot going on in Baltimore. No way the Jags get this win here. To the Lions. Lions, one of the most popular up and coming teams. Dan Campbell's not gonna let them lose that game. At the Titans. It's always a toss up with the Titans and the Jags. I feel like the Jags are always, kryptonite for Ryan Tannehill. He may just go in there and throw 4 picks. It may be the Malik Willis show by week 14. Who knows what the Titans are doing? I feel like they're kind of in a transition year. They're still competing, but they're getting ready to move on from Ryan Tannehill, bring in Malik Willis, Treylon Burks, see what they can do there. Week 15, Cowboys, never know with them, but no way Dak lets them lose this game to the Jags. Week 16, the Jets. Is Zach Wilson the guy? I don't think he is. I hope he is, but I don't think he is. Even though they're going into New York, it's going to be a cold game late in the season. They had we got a string of them having 7 straight losses. Doug Peterson's going to get them back on the wagon, get a W in New York. They got to get improvement this season. They don't want another 3-14 team. Need 3-14 season. Get their 4th win in week 16. Week 17, they play the Texans. Like I said, I feel like these teams are kind of neck and neck. They're at the Texans, so I'm going to give the Texans that win. They're trying their whole season. I doubt they're going to be trying to play for a number 1 pick. But they could be if Davis Mills is not the man. They could be trying to get Bryce Young next year, C.J. Stroud. We'll see what they're doing. But I still think it's an L in Houston. Come back to the Titans. Titans are known for losing these big games, especially to the Jags. I mean, I just feel like they implode at the most inopportune times. I feel like the Jags go in there or have the home game week 18, end the season on a solid note, end with their 5th win. Finish the season 5-12. I said when I started this, a 6-12. I mean a 6-11 season, or a 7-10 season would be improvement for sure. That would make the future look good. I wouldn't be too upset if I was a Jags fan and they end the season 5-12. It might get you like 4th or 5th pick, but it's improvement. Maybe the fans aren't bringing out the clown suits again this season. Shad Khan was getting the clown treatment last year for everything that's going on with Urban Meyer and everything. So we'll see what the Jags have to offer. I see them going 5-12. Let me know if you feel if that's overkill or you feel like they're not even going to get 5 wins. You think they're more of a 2-win team. So now, with each team, I want to go, will this team have any top 5 players in any position? You look through their depth chart, unless someone just comes out of the blue, there's no one I see anywhere on here that's going to be a top 5 player at their position. No way. Jags are too bad. I don't foresee it happening. Top 10? There could be something, maybe Trayvon Walker comes out and plays as well as his athletic score is, but I don't see it. The only thing I could see is seeing maybe like a top 10 duo of cornerbacks between Darius Williams and Shaquille Griffin. Maybe on their best day, they're a top 10 duo for sure in the league. I could see that. But outside of that, I don't see any other top 10 players for sure on this team. Go through each team. I want to try to see if there's any MVP candidates. Like I said, if there's not a top 5 player, there's no MVP candidates. You can hang that up. Trayvon Walker, it just depends on if his athleticism transfers over to the NFL level. Could he win Rookie of the Year? For sure. So, it's a toss-up. We'll see what happens with him. Division winner? No way they're the division winner at 5-12. I feel like the division winner is probably going to have 10 or 11 wins. We'll get into that as we go through the other teams within this AFC South. But 5-12 is definitely not going to get you anywhere near the division. Most improved player? They better hope it's Trevor Lawrence, because if it's not Trevor Lawrence, 5 wins, probably not even going to be achievable by this team. And if it's not Trevor Lawrence, they may be in the sweepstakes for Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud again next year. The future's not going to be bright in sunny Jacksonville for sure if he has another bad season. Drop-off candidates, I'll have more with these other teams, but I mean, the Jags were too bad to have anyone who's going to drop off. Their team wasn't well suited to begin with, so drop off I don't think is going to really occur. And then the most. All right, so then I want to end every episode. Most intriguing thing. Most intriguing thing to me is what's Trevor Lawrence going to do. Last year I have here he's the 28th ranked quarterback with QBR 33.5. It's a successful season to me if he goes from 28th maybe up to 20, 18, top 15, top 20. I would say it's a successful improvement for his second year after having such a horrible first year. You can just throw the first year in the garbage if you want. Such a chaotic season for sure. He did lead the league in interceptions. He was tied with the Super Bowl winner. Matthew Stafford also had 17. Here's where he ranks a little higher. He ranks a little higher in yards. He was 17th, but that was because he played from behind every game, so he had to throw the ball all the time. 28th in touchdowns, just 12 touchdowns in 17 games. That's about 0.6, 0.7 touchdowns a game. Not ideal for your franchise quarterback. Sacked 32 times. They bring in the rookie. They bring in Brandon Scherf. Re-sign Cam Robinson. Maybe it's a revitalized line. They're here to win now. He was 32nd in yards gained per pass attempt. They still got a lot of slot receivers. I don't know. Maybe they can get some deep routes this year. That'd be promising. They get a few deep routes. Throw it 20, 30 yards down the field every once in a while. He had only 6 yards gained per pass attempt. Joe Burrow led the league at 8.9. 31st in completion percentage. Even though it was short throws, he wasn't completing them. So hopefully he improves with all this. Again, look at the offense and the defense. They completely revamped a lot of the offense, for sure. They brought in a lot of new people on both sides, especially the offense to me. That's the key. I'm less worried about the defense. They're equally important. But if Trevor Lawrence cannot improve to make this offense a top 20 offense, that's a bigger problem to me. They got more leeway with the defense. The focus is on Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. If he cannot make this top 20, then they got bigger problems to solve in Jacksonville for sure. We'll see if the new improvements on the line and the new wide receivers, even though no James Robinson, still not an excuse. They got Travis Etienne, who they spent a first rounder on last year. It's truly his rookie season this year because he didn't really play. He's hurt the whole season last year. Defense, a bunch of mediocre players to me. Maybe someone breaks out this year. I don't know. You never know. They spent 2 first rounders on the defense, so we'll see what they can do. But other than that, I have them going 5-12. Would gladly like to be surprised. We'll see what happens with them. Don't have high hopes, but that's what the season's all about. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I do appreciate it. I'm going to come back in a few days with another team within the division. I'm going to go through the AFC South, then do a division recap. Same type of concept, maybe touch up a few things here and there. Please leave a like or comment. Discuss what you like, what you didn't like. Always here trying to improve. Would love feedback. Would love to discuss anything I said. And thanks for watching. See you on the next one.